Today on Shredding Spree, will a high-end wheel set actually make your bike faster? We're about to find out. Have you ever actually sat through and listened to somebody gab about how much they love their carbon wheels? Well, if you've ridden with me in the last 6 months, you've probably heard my spiel about how much I like lightweight wheels for a more quick and responsive ride feel. Well, that's all that is. It's just a feeling. It's hard to describe, and it's really hard to map out the results when someone's just talking about how their bike feels. I often take people's opinions about ride quality with a grain of salt because there's always the placebo effect. Sometimes you could just feel something because you're looking for it. Even as I explain my experience with certain parts, I often wonder how my opinions could change if I actually had the chance to ride all the different manufacturers and all the different levels of spec for a specific part. But on the topic of lightweight wheels, I've actually come up with a bit of a test so that we can see on the clock whether or not that improved ride quality actually translates into faster times down a windy trail. So I'm out here at my local trail system on my Dolly Eponym, and I've brought 2 sets of wheels with me. The first set is my TR30 wheel set from Berd Wheels. It's a carbon rim with a 30mm internal width. They're spinning on Industry 9 Hydra hubs, and they have Berd Wheels' patented polymer spoke designs, aka rope spokes. This wheel set is just about as sweet as they come. With the tires, sealant, and cassette on these wheels, no rotors, they're weighing in at a combined 4,100 grams. The second set of wheels I brought out are the alloy wheels that came on my Stump Jumper Evo. It's a basic alloy rim with a 30mm internal width spinning on SLX hubs. Not a bottom of the barrel wheel set by any means, but it's not really fitting into that lightweight category. That wheel set with tires and a cassette, no rotors, is weighing in at just over 4,700 grams. That's just under 1.5 pounds heavier than what these wheels are. So what I'm gonna do today is make 4 timed runs down this trail. I'm gonna do my first run on these wheels, and then my next 2 on the SLX wheel set. And then I'll round it off with 1 more run with these wheels back on the bike. We'll check out all the times in the end and see which setup went faster. Oh, another thing, I'm doing this chainless so that my power output doesn't have much effect on the time at the end of the run. The trail I've chosen for this test is a windy downhill run that's much like a bobsled course. It's got a lot of turns, some steep spots, some flatter spots, plenty of braking bumps, and even a couple of uphill spots. So hopefully I'll be able to carry enough momentum so that I won't have to push, because that would ruin the test. The last thing I'll note is that I know this trail. I've got over 100 runs on this trail. I know where to brake, where not to brake, all the good lines. All the speed that I'm going to be able to generate on this run is strictly from pumping and gravity. So that's that. Let's get the chain off this thing and see how we run. We're gonna start from this stick. Just gonna pick my foot up, and the time starts when we get to that tree. Here we go. Full tuck. It's a little windy today. There we go. That was the uphill part. We're good. Oh, it's windy. Woo! There it is, chainless. Man, everything just seems so chaotic when you're riding in the wind. Let's put the chain back on this thing and get back up there. Okay, felt like that first run was pretty good. A little reserved towards the beginning, no major mistakes. Was able to make it top to bottom with no chain, no problem. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the alloy wheels now. Okay, here we have the Dolly with the alloy wheels on it. Back to our starting point. It's that stick right here. The wind's a little bit more of a factor than I wanted it to be today. And off. Full torque. That felt fast. Didn't feel slow. Water bottle fell out right here at the bottom. I didn't expect that to happen. I mean, I feel like the times between the two wheel sets are gonna be pretty dang close. Let's put this chain back on and we'll talk about what just happened. Okay, that was interesting. There were times where I felt like it was quicker, but I also think I kind of hit a sweet spot in the wind gust there, so that's why we're doing more than one run here. One thing I will say for sure is that this is a bouncier ride than what the Berd Wheels were. You could really feel the difference from the polymer spoke versus this steel spoke. Felt like the bike was hopping a bit more, and the fact that my water bottle flew out at the end is a little bit of a tell that the bike is a rougher ride, not as damp of a feel. And it's so interesting with the spokes on that wheel. I feel like you can notice the difference in the dampness and the feedback you're getting from the trail. It's just so rider friendly coming from those Berd spokes. The wheels aren't soft or noodly. I feel like it might just be like high speed or harder hits give you a little bit of that dampened ride, dare I say, like a shock absorption, whereas these, it was like a pogo stick at some points. So it's funny with the Berd wheels, they're not noodly. You don't feel it wander in the corners, you don't feel it flex under cranking, but it does have a different feel. Back to the top for run 2 on the alloy wheels. Let's see if we can go any faster. Back at my stick. Here we go. Tuck. Camera adjustment. Honk, honk. Stay low through this wind. Woo! Oh, I heard a crazy sound. Something got hung up in the tire or something. Let's get this chain back on. Feels like the wind's dying out a little bit. Another variable that's fair to mention here, on top of the wheel weight and the wind, are the tires. And these are the original tires that came on this Stump Jumper Evo wheel set. And they're pretty worn, but still solid grip. I just didn't really have faith in these tires anymore because they were so cracked and knobbies pulling off of them and stuff. But as far as like tread wear, they're still pretty good. But they're also a year old and have seen a lot of dirt, so they're probably kind of hard. So I would say a little more of the same vibe that I got from that second run. I'm excited to put the other wheels back on now and just feel that difference going back to that wheel set, because I do feel like this thing is hopping a lot. Oh, Hey buddy, got a sunbather here. Little guy, no rattle, no triangle head, so you're not that scary. Okay, I'll go around. Something else I'm kind of curious about when thinking about the validity of my test here on trails where there's a little bit more pedaling, changing direction, like starting and stopping, kind of like really slow versus really fast. Since this is a bobsled run of a trail, you sort of pick up that momentum and keep it. And I feel like a lightweight wheel set might be most noticeably faster when you're on and off the cranks all the time. But I think this is an interesting study to begin with, where you're just rolling with velocity with no chain, no influence from anything but my pumping and gravity. I think this is going to be an interesting look at what a difference it is, if any at all, in these circumstances. Berd spokes run 2 now. I got my Berd wheels back on there. Chain is gone. Here we go. Full tuck. Big gust of wind just crossed me up right there. Woo! Coming in hot. Saw something in the trail back there. Looked familiar. Who's my water bottle? Must have fallen out on the last run. That's funny, I got over 100 miles on this bike with these wheels, and the water bottle's never fallen out before. And now it's done it twice in a row with the other wheels. What's up with that? Didn't even notice coming into that last run that I didn't have my water bottle. After doing 2 runs with the alloy wheels and then going back onto these, this is always going to feel like a hardtail, and I am going like 25 miles an hour into braking bumps, so hardtail in that kind of condition is going to be a lot to hold on to. I will say that the ride is definitely calmer with these on there versus the alloy steel setup. It'll be interesting to see how the times compare. I definitely think that I was a little more active after the first run, so runs 2, 3, and 4 I think are going to be faster. Run 1 I think was definitely my slowest. So that's it for this test. We're going to take this video back to the lab, give it a good study, come back with some results. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the garage. At this point I've reviewed the tape and noted the times, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. On the lightweight carbon wheel set, I ran a 44.06 and a 43 flat. On the standard alloy wheel set, I ran a 45 and a 44.04. So the top shelf wheel set was faster. When combining all the times for each respective wheel set, I calculated a roughly 2.2% speed increase from the lightweight wheels over the alloy wheels. Now that might not sound like that much, but I actually think that's a notable speed increase in these circumstances. Personally, I've noticed the benefits of a lightweight wheel set mostly in technical situations and at low speeds. In the moments where you're pedaling over obstacles or accelerating out of turns, the lightweight wheels really come to life. I feel like they change direction more easily and are more responsive when accelerating or under braking. But this test barely had any of that. It mostly just showed how much momentum you can carry when you've already got a full head of steam and you've got gravity on your side. In the end, the thing that stood out most to me was the exact thing that I said this experiment wasn't about in the beginning of the video: ride feel. When I did my 2 runs on the alloy wheel set, I felt like I was hauling ass because of the rough feedback I was getting from the trail. But in reality, I was actually going a little slower. And speaking to this point, something actually happened that I think deserves a little extra mention. And that's the fact that my water bottle got ejected on not one, but both of my alloy wheel runs. As I cut the riding portion of this video together, this intrigued me. So I went into my Strava history and I counted how many times I had run that exact trail on this exact bike. And the total is 10. Never once had I ever ejected a water bottle until I was running this other wheel set, and then it did it both times. Coincidence? All I'll say is that's interesting, and I might just use that as a little bit of hard evidence to back up my feelings on the dampening characteristics of these Berd wheels. So to answer the question, did lightweight wheels make my bike faster on a downhill windy run? Yeah. But I think that's only a piece of what you get when you invest in a nice wheel set. The fact that a component has the ability to both make the ride feel more comfortable and make the bike faster at the same time is pretty noteworthy. But do you need a high-end wheel set to have fun on the bike? Does more speed equal more fun? Not necessarily. Do you need a high-end wheel set to haul ass on your bike? No. Is it worth the money? To some people it will be. Now, I'm not out here saying that you need to buy these to go fast or have fun on your bike. But if you're at a place where you're looking for some extra performance out of your bike, the wheels are a great place to start. So that's all the time I've got for this video. When examining my findings on this experiment, I did consider other things that could have affected my speed, like tires, hub engagement, and wind. But if you can think of other variables that could have affected my speed, feel free to continue the conversation with me in the comments. If you were entertained by this video, perhaps consider liking and subscribing. It helps me out. Thanks for watching.